Donald Trump's recent criminal conviction is a unique one because it's a state charge. And even if Donald Trump becomes president of the United States again, he can't pardon himself for a state crime. That holds true for the conviction he just received, and if he ever gets a conviction in Georgia, the same would be true there. He couldn't pardon himself. Now, he can pardon himself from the two federal cases, the documents case in Florida and the January 6th case in Washington, D.C. But the conviction in New York, a potential conviction in Georgia, nothing he can do about it. Unless, of course, Republicans in Congress have their way. Because according to new reports, Republicans in Congress are pushing legislation that would allow any current or former president, of course, to move any state charges against them to federal court, effectively turning any state charge into a federal charge, which of course would then mean if Trump becomes president again, he can just pardon himself and all is forgiven. That is what Republicans in the House of Representatives have been focused on recently. And for the record, according to the reports, this legislation has already made it out of the House Judiciary Committee. It's passed the committee. And they are now begging Republican Speaker Mike Johnson to bring it to the floor for a full House vote. And because Republicans control the chamber, even though they only have a few vote majority there, it could still pass. Now, it's not going to pass the Senate. It sure as hell isn't going to be signed by President Biden, but they still want to do it. This is where they want to focus their attention. This Republican-controlled Congress, for the last year and a half, has passed the fewest number of bills of any congressional session in the history of the United States. The fewest bills. They're supposed to be working right now on the 2025 appropriations bills, so we can fund the government next year, seeing as how they pushed us towards almost 5 government shutdowns in the last year and a half because we couldn't get the funding right. So they have things they're supposed to be doing, right? There is legislation they're supposed to be working on, they're supposed to be voting on, and they're not doing it. Instead, they are working on stupid stuff like how do we protect Donald Trump? How do we get him to be able to pardon himself? How do we circumvent the Constitution with our own piece of legislation? This is apparently the priority of those idiots in Washington, D.C. on the Republican side of the aisle. We've got American families that cannot afford their prescriptions still. They don't know where their next meal is going to come from. Congress could do something to help them, and they're just not doing it. They're just focused on saving their cult leader. That's what drives me so crazy about this. I'm not mad that this legislation could pass and become a bill. I don't think that's going to happen. What I'm mad about is that these idiots are wasting their time bowing down to one man when a nation of 333 million people is suffering. They are putting the desires of one man above the other 333 some odd million of us. And if that doesn't piss you off, then I don't know what will. Hey everybody, I don't know if you've noticed this, but we are closing in on a pretty major milestone here at Fair and Balanced as we approach 500,000 subscribers. But we're not there yet, and we definitely need your support. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel, and don't forget, like and comment on the videos and share them as widely as possible.